For those of you who are unaware, Blastoise from base set does have an error printing that is much more valuable than the standard unlimited base set. So if you don't know where to look, you always want to look at the stage 1. So if this is missing, if the stage 1 is missing from this card, it is a highly sought after print error for a Blastoise. So if you ever see a Blastoise that says put Blastoise on the card and missing the stage 1, you are looking at a pretty significant error. Not yet. I have not looked at the Zekrom quite yet. I'm actually looking at the next person's, which is Joe Bourne. Basically every holo from base set, which after looking at it is, for holo wise, is really clean. But no, I have not looked at it quite yet. So the only thing, Joe, that I would say, I don't know if this is part of the picture or not, but this whole left side almost looks kind of like bent. Like from here to the tip of my mouse all the way down to this part. But I don't know if that's just how the picture was taken in the material. Just judging by the card's condition, I'm going to say that it's just a picture illusion. But definitely let us know in the chat to see if that's a bend or a crease on that left side. But all in all, like I said, this from being from base set, from being in base set, this is pretty good. Especially the holo. The holo on this is insane. Right, so we have, I think that either might be a scratch or might be a print line. I would imagine a scratch, but it doesn't look like it, to be honest. I think that might be part of the holo. I feel like I'm giving Joe a homework assignment here. So there's two things we want to check out. Okay, so it's the angle. Okay, so that's good. So the angle there, and then the other thing that I was thinking of was this. That doesn't look like a scratch, but if you can confirm that, that'd be great. But all in all, this card looks super clean. There's no silvering on the edges. There's no scratches. So let's take a flip over. All right, so yeah, it's so weird. I think it is the material or something that kind of gives like a weird flash. But I can definitely see it more on this one too. So we are starting to see some whitening, but again, for being base set, it is very good so far. So in the bottom right, so we're looking at the bottom. There are a few dings on the bottom. We also see some on the right. We're also seeing some whitening on the right side, though, unfortunately. But again, as to be expected for older cards. So we got some whitening on the top right too. But the surface on the back, kind of like what I was talking about with Civics, if you take a microfiber cloth and kind of take care of some of these like little white specks, that'll definitely improve the surface score for the back. And there's a little fuzz right there too, again, that you can get rid of pretty easily with a microfiber cloth, so that shouldn't be too bad. All right, chat, what are we thinking? So there is the front of the Blastoise. There is the back. So I'm going to put the poll in the chat. And let's see what you guys think of the Blastoise. So while you're doing that, I'm going to catch up with chat as always. So it's not the media chat. It's so in that same section, if you go maybe to 4 more down, there's a channel called Grade-Review, and you'll see everyone's submissions in there. So as long as you put them in the grade review channel, that way I'll be able to know and put them in the queue for me to reach out to you when I do stream them, so you can be present, like Joe Bourne is. Because it is really nice if you guys can be here. It's totally up to you. You don't have to be here for them, but it does help. For example, since Jay Bourne is in here, he was able to quickly help us figure out if that was a bend on that left side or not. And so since it's not, then we can, again, more accurately assess the card's condition. So, so let's see. Jay Bourne, definitely some whitening. I tried the black background. I haven't cleaned them all. Yeah, it's fine. And like I said, once you use like a microfiber cloth, a lot of the stuff that I'm pointing out can probably get taken care of pretty quickly. So honestly, not too bad. All right, chat. You guys said 7 or 6. Honestly, a pretty good assessment, in my opinion. Yeah, because that front is really clean. Honestly, again, I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record, but I was expecting a lot more scratches on these holos, and I'm hoping that that's the trend, just for your sake, that the holo scratches are as good as this Blastoise, because this is a pretty high bar in terms of condition for the holo, so that's really good. And then on the back, it's really just these spots on here. So on, like, from my opinion, just because there are so many on this right side, you might be getting into that 6 category, in my opinion. If there were definitely, like, if there were just if these weren't there, even not all of them, if there are some missing, it'd probably be a 7, but I think conservatively, you're probably looking at a 6, would be my guess for the Blastoise. But again, kudos to you you and your brother keeping these cards so clean, to be honest. Like this Magneton, like this thing is clean, dude. All right. Okay. So while I'm getting this prepared, let's look at the... I don't know how much about what good I'm at. Yeah, so I would say just look at the pinned messages in the grade review channel. And then if I see that they're too blurry or you need to take just more zoomed in pictures, I'll let you know. I can talk to you after stream. Or just shoot me a DM on Discord and we can talk about it. Alright. Magneton. Again, the big trend is the holo, right? The holo is immaculate on this. This thing looks insane. Oops, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone else that's doing the same, as well as liking the live. I always appreciate the support. Let's see. Yeah, the edges look good. They are very nice, Betty. That was the first thing I noticed when I was looking through these, like when I was setting the stream up. The holo is just insane. Absolutely insane. And Joe Bourne actually took a picture of how these cards were stored, and I'm not kidding, they were stored in a base set booster box. Joe Bourne can probably confirm that. I'm pretty sure that's what was sent over. But that's insane to me. That the thing that they were carried in and stored away in was the original base set booster box. I'm pretty sure it's in the media channel if you want to take a look at that. It's so cool. But anyway, centering looks good, edges look good, the foil looks immaculate. So right off the bat for me, I'm not kidding, you're probably looking at a 9 already. Like, that's insane. So let's flip it over. Again, based off of what Jay Bourne said, I think like this consistent white is just how the light was hitting the background and coming back up to the card. So I'm going to not say that this is just whitening all along the edge. So just take that into account with this material in the background. But really the only thing I see, again, microfiber cloth will take care of these little white specks. This is definitely whitening on that corner for sure. Some whitening there. Some whitening on that bottom right corner. And then some right here. But honestly, not too bad. That one's super clean. There's really not much. Because I would say for this one, yeah, Charizard's saying an 8. Yeah, I'd say for this one's pretty clean for sure. I'd say this is probably a good. Because normally when I've submitted cards that have like this kind of mild, almost like consistent whitening on the corners, I have seen some 7s, but I've also seen some 8s. So I would probably say for me, probably be around a 7 or an 8. Like if I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably say 8, only because the card itself is just so clean. Then I'd probably say an 8 for this Magneton for sure. But again, super clean. All right, on to the Ninetales. Yeah, it's insane, Betty. I honestly I couldn't believe in the beginning until he showed that box. I was like, man, this story is adding up. Like, that's just crazy. It's just so cool. Such a cool story. Centering of this Ninetale again. Centering of this Ninetales. I basically, like, the only reason why I'm not doing chat grade is these cards are essentially how I would treat modern cards. Like, they're literally, like, for the most part, they're pack fresh. Really, I think the only thing that I can tell from, like, the whitening and the dings is that they're just stored in a box. Probably not, unless Jborn can say differently or whatever. I would imagine they weren't in a top loader. I don't know. Or if they were, not sleeved or whatever. Because I think some of the whitening that I see suggests that they were just stored in a box was as they were. And just kind of stored loosely in a box, which could have resulted in some whitening here and there. But honestly, I'm just treating these like modern cards, which is insane for me to say out loud looking at base set. So that's why it seems like it's a little bit faster. Because, I mean, look at this. There's no, like, the edges are good. Centering's good. The foil's good. Ninetales looking good. Like... And again, it's more of just, I think, just how they were stored, really. Like, it's some of the little white specks on the top. That one might be something, because that one's kind of more circular in nature. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking Jborns, because most of the whitening that I see is really just, I think, just how they were stored. Probably they just were kind of shaken up a little bit from time to time. You know, I mean, these are 25 years old, right? So... But yeah, some microfiber cloth can definitely take care of those for sure, as well as that edge. Let's see. That's what I'm saying, Wicked. These cards are, no pun intended, wicked nice. So yeah, I would definitely, like, so far... Just for the sake of you having them for so long, like, your initial purchase is essentially 0. So it is pretty clean, to be honest. So I'd probably say, for this one, because there is a little bit more whitening on the edge here, I'd probably say 7 for this one. But man, so far so good. Yeah, so I'd say that Ninetales is probably a 7. Okay. Zapdos, pretty much the same. Honestly, kind of the same as the Ninetales. I'm not trying to, like, rush, but they're literally all look the same condition for the most part. I'm just taking a look. We got some whitening there. Yeah, I just don't want to sound like a broken record. Got some whitening on that edge. Maybe, again, maybe some stuff you can clean up with a microfiber cloth on the top there by the P. But man, yeah, these are... We got maybe a little bit more scratches on this one. You can kind of see right there, right here. Maybe one right here. But I'd still say it, because there's so little of them, I would still probably say a 7 for the Zapdos. That's awesome, Jborn. All right. Another big hitter, the Venusaur. I'm trying to see if that was on my screen or not. I mean, look at that holo, dude. That's just so nice. I mean, yeah. If you don't submit these, I don't know. I mean, just for the sake of having them, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna find. I think it'd just be cool just to submit in general. This one might have some more surface wear. Like this. I don't know what this is. If these are specs, they can just forget what I'm saying, but if those aren't specs, it's a little bit of a surface. Let's see. Some edge wear there, some on that side. This one might be a 7. Really, the thing that's saving you the most is just how good the hollows are. Because that surface on the front is so nice. Yeah, so for this one, I'd probably say just from the edge wear, but it's not as much. Like if there, I would say if there's any more, you're probably looking at a 6, but I'd probably say a soft 7. A soft 7 for the Venusaur. So Chansey is also a very hard card to grade. This honestly goes for any normal type back in this era, so Snorlax is also another one. Just because the card itself is white, so it shows a lot of scratches much more easily compared to other hollows. But yeah, that was another thing I was going to say, Charizard. I'm glad you brought that up. His print lines would be coming up like crazy. And that is actually a good point. I really have not seen so far with all the hollows that I've kind of just like been breezing through. You're basically making this job like so much easier. I have not seen any real print lines on any of these, which is actually really impressive. So that you got that going for you too. And there's no print lines? I had a yawn real quick. So there's no print lines, and the centering on all these cards have been really nice. That's really those are. If you're taking anything from this, the hollow has been good. I haven't seen any print lines, and the centering has been immaculate. So that front, I can't complain about that front. Really, the only thing is just the backs. This one, I think, is probably your best back yet. If you can get rid of some of these little white dots. Like right here, here, and here. If you can get rid of those dots, this one's probably an 8, just because of the 2 white little dots right here in the bottom right. You got some on the side and some on the top. So I'd probably say, and that looks like a little fuzz, something right there. But this one's probably an 8, for sure. Chansey is most notorious for print lines. Yeah, and it's crazy because I don't even see any. Like, it's honestly, it's so funny. I'm glad you said it because I've just been so used to just not seeing anything on these cards. I'm glad you just brought it up. So this one's probably a good chance at an 8 for sure. Yeah, of course, Jayborn, for sure. That's so funny. No idea what we had until 4 weeks ago. That's so funny. That's so cool. Well, thanks for sharing. At the end of the day, I really appreciate you sharing this with the community and giving us a chance to look at it. So definitely appreciate it. I mean, like, centering's good, no print lines, hollow's immaculate. I mean, again, it's really just more of the same old, same old. A little whitening on that top part, some whitening in the center, some whitening on that bottom. So this would probably be anywhere from a 7 or 8 as well. Better check your closet for other hidden booster boxes. Yeah. At this point, it's like Pandora's box. But yeah, I'd say probably this one. I would say because of this, you're probably a 7 because there's at least 1, 2, 3. So the Poliwrath probably a 7. Mewtwo, my boy. Again, Mewtwo. Centering, perfect. Print lines, don't see any. Hollow scratching, don't see any either. Flip it on the back. It seems like it's been very consistent, from what I can tell, with like where the whitening is, just probably from how the box was stored. it seems like a lot of them have been on this, so on our perspective, this right side, a lot of the whitening. So this one only has 2, from what I can tell. So if I can take a look. So on the right here, we have 1 on the top, 2 here, and 3 here. So yeah, probably another 7 contender again. And yeah, without repeating myself too much, definitely take a microfiber cloth to these, because all these little white dots are pretty much just going to disappear once you do that, which is my assumption. Especially just being in a box. This is probably just part of the cardboard that makes up the box, just kind of stuck on here over the years. So honestly, this is the first card I've seen that it's actually had apparent scratches on it. This is literally the only one I've seen so far, besides the Zapdos. Because you have a scratch right here by the tail. That's 1. You have 1 between its legs. That's 2. 1 right there, 3. I'm just kind of taking a look. Let's see. So this one is a little bit more whitening on this one. This one I'll definitely do a chat grade on. I'm interested in seeing what you guys think. Because we do have some more fraying in the center part. We have some more on the top right and the top left, as well as the bottom left here, as well as some of here on the top. But yeah, really this is like just a little bit more, but not too much. So yeah, let me do a quick poll here, because I'm actually interested to see what you guys think. So the poll is live for the Raichu. The first one I think I've seen with actual scratches on it, so kudos. You got 1, 2, 3, 4-ish on the front. And then on the back is really where more of the whitening is noticed. So on the top right, the middle, which this one's a little bit more aggressive, as well as that bottom right and bottom left, where we've only really been seeing the whitening on the top, bottom, and middle. But that's pretty much it. So let's see. Chat 7-6. Yeah, I'd say we're pretty much in the same ballpark. Because I'm thinking if this edge wasn't so abrasive as well as this one, I'd probably say a 7. But in this case, I'd probably say a 6 for the Raichu. But still, very, very good card. The holos are definitely the roughest. Yeah, well, I would say in that case, I would definitely, prioritize the starters, right? Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur, and then the Wartortle, Charmeleon, and Ivysaur. Definitely prioritize those. The Pikachu. So any of the starters is a safe bet for sure. Okay. Clefairy, another one. And like Charizard said, right? So print lines on this stuff would really be popping out, and man, I do not see any. Just a little. All I'm really seeing is just some fuzzies and some probably like cardboard dust, but that's about it. But again, front centering looks good. No edges. Take a look in the back. This one's actually really nice. So I was really looking at the top again, at the top and the bottom. Really don't see a lot other than maybe this. But that, again, that might be from the picture. I'm not too sure. Boogers. Maybe. The only thing I can see, though, is that it's a little off-center. It's probably the first thing I've noticed so far from the back, is that it's a little bit thicker on the right than it is on the left. But I'd probably say from the centering alone, you're probably looking at an 8. And it's a little, now that I'm looking at the centering more, it is a little bit bigger on this left side it is on the right, which makes sense because if you were to flip it over, that's what it looks like on this side, right? So if you flip it over, this right side is going to be this left side. So that makes sense. So I'd probably say for centering and some initial like whitening on the bottom right, you're probably looking at an 8 here. So, all right, last but not least, the big one, the big lizard. Charizard is in the chat already, but we're looking at the fiery lizard boy. The Charizard. Obviously one of the most sought after base set cards. So let us take a look. Even though it's the same, we're going to make sure that we are very thorough with this one. Let's see. Centering looks good. I'm just measuring right now. And while I'm measuring, I'll definitely have to catch up on chat here. But yeah, if you have any price questions or anything like that, if anyone's not answering them in the chat, and if you want me to review it or whatever, we do have the price discussions channel in the Discord. So if you want to have any of the answered there, that is what that channel is for. So left and right are good at a 1/4 inch. The top, and so the bottom is a little bit bigger than the top based off of what my measurement is. And granted, it's probably a little bit skewed, right? Because I'm literally putting a ruler up on the screen. Jesse, thanks so much for sharing the live. So the only scratch that I see on this Charizard is this one right here. That's the only one I see. Text looks good. All in all, so far, so good. All right. So unfortunately, I am seeing some edge wear on the back. So let's take a look here. So first, I do see a slight scratch on the surface here on that left side. As I'm looking at the bottom, some whitening on the bottom, some right there in the bottom right. Let's see. Some more significant whitening in the middle right here as we go up, along with some edge wear on the top right. So I'm trying to look to see if there's any other things that poke out. Again, a lot of these little white specks, I'm assuming you can clean off with a microfiber cloth, as well as this one right here in the top left. But let's see what chat thinks. So what do you guys think for the Charizard? So that is the front. That is the back. And let me know the poll is active. Let's see what you guys think while I catch up. Yeah, I'd say for pricing, Wicked is correct. For English specifically, looking at last sales on TCG Player, that's how I do it. And again, I'm probably going to schedule a stream or schedule some time to do more price charting and just more price research, along with some like quote-unquote Pokemon investments. But TCG Player, that's what I use for raw. And then as a seller, I use what do I use? The Terapeak product research tool on eBay. It gives me a lot of more sales data for PSA or just graded cards in general. So that's what I tend to use. All right, so the poll has ended, and we're looking like we have a 7-6. So, what do I think? What do I think your lizard boy would get? I think that if this wasn't here, it would be a 7. However, since we have some scratching here on the back, we have this that was a little bit more aggressive, and you have some on the bottom right and the top right. Mine, just based off of even the Zard that I got back, that got a 6. I'm thinking this would probably get a 6 as well. That'd be my assessment. But still, it's definitely grade worthy for sure.